What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our top 5 dark horse MVP candidates for the 2022 NFL season. All that and much more coming your way right now. All right, before we get into today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video as it will help us out tremendously. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, the 2022 NFL season is fast approaching, and we have dark horse candidates for the MVP already being talked about. First, I want to start off with Derek Carr, the big-time quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, one of the biggest additions that they had this offseason was Davante Adams, the big receiver from Green Bay, but I would say that's rivaled by Josh McDaniels coming to town as the head coach, working with Carmen Bricillo as their new offensive coordinator. I really see a big upgrade from the Las Vegas Raiders and what they did last year, not just from what they were able to do as far as a roster standpoint, but the coaching and the ability to get this team just having some sort of fluidity throughout the entire season. Rich Bisaccia did a great job in relief of John Gruden, but they need continuity. I think Josh McDaniels is going to bring just that.
Yeah, Derek Carr was already a 4,000 plus passing quarterback, and this guy has proven that he has a strong start to the season, and that's when we see him really being talked about in these MVP conversations. But adding Davante Adams, making some moves, and bolstering this offense enough, Derek Carr can become the quarterback that the Raiders have been looking for, that they've been wanting him to turn into. And the Raiders aren't expected to do too much in the AFC West. Tough division. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, those two are looked at as stronger quarterbacks. If Derek Carr can get the Raiders past them and win the AFC West, I think he can throw himself up there for most valuable player.
Absolutely. I think Derek Carr absolutely has the wherewithal to get that done. Another player that we know has what it takes to get it done, staying in the West but hopping over to the NFC, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald should be looked at as an MVP candidate because of how dominant of a force he is on the defensive front. It's not only his ability to change the game based on where he lines up and what he's able to do, it's the fact that he is solely game planned for. Jalen Ramsey, all those other guys, you're going to live and die by what they do. You will not let Aaron Donald ruin your game, and somehow he still does. That is the mark of a true and utter MVP in my book. I think Aaron Donald is on a mission to put more hardware on his mantle.
Aaron Donald is one of the most consistent players, and we know every year he's going to end up being first or second in sacks. This guy is an incredible talent, and now when you add Bobby Wagner behind him, it's going to make it harder on an offensive line to maintain just Aaron Donald, because Bobby Wagner can pinpoint all your weaknesses. This guy is one of the best mic'd up linebackers that we've seen in a very long time, and adding him with Aaron Donald is going to help Aaron Donald out just as much as going to help Bobby Wagner out. So Aaron Donald, already being the best defensive tackle, now has even more weapons around him, which is going to make it harder for him to be stopped. I think Aaron Donald definitely will thrust himself into the MVP conversation.
Another player I think that should be considered for an MVP award this year would be Jameis Winston, the big-time quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. We saw Jarvis Landry head over to New Orleans to work opposite Michael Thomas. Both of those guys looking extremely healthy, looking to get into this offense as soon as possible. Still Alvin Kamara there, ready at his disposal, and we saw this defense get so much better. The New Orleans Saints are going to be a viable franchise, and when you're taking a look at MVP candidates, you have to see how has their team performed, how have they lived up to being able to keep their team in the playoff hunt. With the defense now being fixed up, I fully expect that Jameis Winston should be considered for an MVP award.
When Jameis Winston took over this team last season and we saw he wasn't going to have Michael Thomas to start the season, you looked at the rest of the depth chart, you didn't have much confidence in what Jameis Winston would be able to do. But he proved everybody wrong. This guy took over this team and worked with what he had and played at a very high level. Now you add more weapons to what he has to work with. He has another season in this offense, and Dennis Allen, being his former offensive coordinator, now takes over and leads this team. It's going to help Jameis Winston out, and I think with all of the players around Jameis now, this is one of the stronger teams in the NFC, and it's going to surprise a lot of people to the point where we're considering Jameis for MVP.
Jameis Winston should definitely be thought of as a dark horse MVP candidate. And another guy that won't be surprising us, TJ Watt. I think TJ Watt could enter into the mix for the MVP award. When you take a look at what he was able to do, tying the single season sack record last season, this man is clearly on a journey to put his name in the record books. Him and Michael Strahan will forever be tied for now as far as single season sacks are concerned. I think that TJ Watt will try to break that record this season. He is going to be a man on a mission, and I fully expect that doing so would lead to an MVP award.
TJ Watt tied that record with only 15 games in that season. If you give TJ Watt, if he is allowed to stay healthy and play this entire season, there's no doubt in my mind he will break that record, because he has yet to even reach the peak of his career, and TJ Watt is only getting better. He's going to have more opportunities next season, and if he does break that record, there's no way that you can hold this man out of the conversation.
I agree 100%. Now, we've talked about quarterbacks. We've talked about quarterback hunters. How about the guys that relieve some of the pressure from the quarterbacks? That being Jonathan Taylor, the big-time running back for the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, Matt Ryan being a huge upgrade over Carson Wentz this offseason at the quarterback position. Jonathan Taylor basically had to carry this franchise on his back last season, and he looked like he was primed to be one of the best, if not the best, running backs in the NFL. I fully expect that Jonathan Taylor could go over 2,000 yards this season. He has what it takes to not only be 2,000, but he could have 1,000 receiving as well. Matt Ryan loves throwing to his running backs. He has no real threats outside of Jonathan Taylor, so he is going to be used significantly. If he can stay healthy, expect a 2,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving season from Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I like Jonathan Taylor's chances because a lot of people believe Matt Ryan is going to be an improvement over Carson Wentz. I think it's going to be just more of the same. To me, Matt Ryan won't be able to come in right from Atlanta and take over this offense and be able to communicate with his new wide receivers and tight ends. It's just not going to work like that. So you're going to see Jonathan Taylor getting even more of a workload early on and consistent throughout the season. He's going to have 30 to 35 carries a game. He's going to have 10 plus targets. This man is going to be the offense because they can't rely on Matt Ryan to get them further than Carson Wentz got them. Jonathan Taylor, if he can get this team to the playoffs, and there's a strong chance with the way this division looks right now, I think there's a strong chance that he winds up in the MVP conversation once again.
Overall, we fully expect that the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, these guys are going to be in the conversation. But today's video was more about presenting alternate ideas. If we're not just going to hand it to the same old guy, who could be in that conversation? I think all 5 of these guys could have resumes that would rival any MVP candidate and could end up taking home that hardware. But I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of this award. Let us know if you believe any of these candidates should be considered for the MVP this season. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.